I love Shakespeare, but I also love Katsuhiro Motoma's work. Both of them are great artists, but one is taught in colleges and one isn't. Why is that? Anime can inspire creativity and encourage the development of critical thinking skills through its rich narratives and intricate character development. Universities have an ivory tower mentality, so they hesitate to teach anime because of the perception that it lacks academic rigor compared to traditional subjects. Bridging the gap between different forms of written literature and animated media, anime has the same laudable themes of overcoming adversity and speak to the human condition. But both of my parents, who are college professors, do not see it that way. They look down on anime. In order to combat this, my brother and I snuck into the professor's office and turned it into our podcast studio and filled it with manga and other anime items. So please, join me and my brother as we try to convince our father, the professor, that authors like Akira Toriyama and other authors like that are worthy to be taught in college, and that anime is, in fact, literature.
Dude, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm being honest with you. I'm kind of scared now.
Dude, what do you think his reaction is going to be?
Why the hell did you waste so much money?
Dude, this stuff was not cheap.
It cost me an arm and a leg, literally. I'm down an arm and a leg.
It didn't cost me that. It cost me something else. My wallet.
I was going to say your soul, but...
Chill, I'm not going that far.
I went that far.
Thank you for your sacrifice. You sacrificed your soul for a camera.
Dude, just think. This would all be over. Like, this entire thing, all this money, would just all be done if he doesn't even want to do it.
Yeah, that'd suck.
If he just comes in here, walks in here, and goes, I don't...
Oh, I thought you were dead. Oh, no.
I honestly felt my soul leave my body.
No, that's not... That's not good.
Yep. It's called an early Christmas present. Wait, no, a late Christmas present because it's March.
Yeah.
Here, put the headphones on.
Yeah, put the headphones on.
You might want to take your glasses off.
Yeah, that damaged the glasses. Those
I'll take the glasses if you don't want them.
prettiest girl on the ball. Put the mic up to your face.
You're too sweet. What's happening, guys?
Father-son bonding time. By father-son, I mean me and him, not him. He's just
Good
background
way.
character.
Come here.
Is your dad aware that it's going to be father-son bonding time? What do we bond?
Well, I've been talking to him for a while, talking about he needs to spend time with me. So he kind of has it in the back of his head, maybe.
What are we going to spend time doing? Because this is not what his office used to look like.
Yeah, honestly, I really hope he doesn't ask what we did with his books.
I didn't even think of that. I like your tchotchkes.
I know.
Or what?
Don't worry about it. I like the decoration. But you touched his stuff, man.
What about the equipment that costs over $1,000?
Yeah, there's that too. I have questions.
You want to know where we get it?
Where?
Our curl.
What?
No, that did not come from our car. That came from my wallet. All of this came from my wallet. I spent on it. You did nothing. You just showed up.
But he's wearing the glasses so cool.
But he's not the one doing all of this.
What is the point of all? What's happening?
Well, what happens is the point of all of this is Dad doesn't really spend time with us nowadays because, with everything that's going on, the house
Sure.
burning down, stuff like that, he has a lot on his plate, but we still want him to spend some time with us.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So
Right.
what
But-
we're going to do is we're going to get him to spend time with us by talking. I've tried playing games with him. He didn't do that. I've tried watching movies with him. He predicts the ending 5 steps ahead. I mean, this is all I can do with him at this point. He's an academic professor, right? He teaches English.
Right.
So my best bet at this point is to try and talk to him.
About what?
This was my idea. What do you mean you?
I'm talking about the spending time idea.
And I spent money.
This is a good idea. It looks awesome and complicated.
Don't ask questions.
I have many questions.
Well, not all of them will be answered, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Dude. Oh, man. I was just talking to David when you came in. This could all be over if he comes in and just like, I'm not doing this. I don't care.
Uh-oh.
Hi.
Uh-oh.
We messed up.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
I'm too old to be spanked, right?
Yeah, but at least you're closer to the exit, bro.
Do you like it? Here, put on the headphones. Sit down and put on the headphones.
What did you guys do? Dude, you moved my books out of here. Where did you Funny. It's funny. You gonna move back out?
That depends
On what?
on whether or not you go along with this.
Go along with what, Nathaniel?
We'll put the headphones on
Yeah, put
first,
on
then
the
we can
headphones.
properly talk.
Okay. Go along with what?
Mic to your mouth, please.
Okay. Go along with what?
This idea that David came up and I critiqued.
What's the idea?
So, David, you explain the idea, and then I'll explain the means behind the idea.
Well, we're going to try to convince you that all of this anime is something that not only is worthy of your time, but worthy of studying and
Did you want to do the
watching.
anime thing again? Are you talking about anime and why it's important kind of stuff?
Yeah, basically.
Dude, this isn't even a good day, dude. I have terrible sinuses right now. Dude, it sounds like I'm squeezing my nose. I can barely see through my eyes
Didn't stop you from going to work.
because I get paid for that.
If this is
Okay, fine. What would you like to talk about, Nathaniel?
well, you're a literary professor, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about literature.
Okay, let's talk about literature. What about literature do you want to talk about? I can talk about what I talked about today, covered today.
Could you sum it up in like 2 sentences?
Yeah, it's on Shakespeare, focused specifically on Macbeth. We were talking about omens of presentiment, about how when you have the witches that put into place the prediction that Macbeth is going to become king, how it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So be careful with the things that motivate you in order to promote your own ambitions. You want to talk about that?
I guess you could talk about something similar to that. Somewhat
Okay.
same story structure, but different medium.
Okay, what, anime?
Yeah, and manga, both.
Well, I don't have much to say about anime, son. It's not like I watch a lot of it.
Yeah, but I mean, you've watched some episodes with me.
Yeah, sure.
You didn't exactly complain about it and make me turn it off.
No, I can see why anime is attractive. Anime is kind of fun. A lot of visualizations. I also enjoy Saturday morning cartoons when I'm watching with your little brother, you know? But I think the main thing is that you're making the argument is that anime is literature.
Yeah, wait. No, yeah, that is my argument. Anime is literature. Here. Where are you? Here. There are, Pride and Prejudice, right?
Yeah, Jane Austen. What about it?
There's a manga about it.
A manga about Pride and Prejudice?
Yeah, it's the same thing except in the form of a manga.
Okay, so you're telling me that if all of a sudden I was going to teach Pride and Prejudice in class, that I should use the manga form and not the novel form?
Well, it depends on your students, really. One could keep them more engaged than the other.
Sure. I mean, think about basic education. Basic education is you're trying to kind of like grow in your cognitive skills. You go from visualizations, right, to watching TV, to actually doing reading. I mean, there's a beauty within being able to read content and information and then make your own pictures in your head, right? But I think the biggest question you're asking me here is like what we had this conversation last week is you're trying to emphasize why anime should be taught in colleges, right?
Yeah.
I think anime should be taught in college. I don't have a problem with teaching anime in college. You can teach it, from an art form, from a cultural form, whatever you want. I don't know a lot about it, but I don't think anime is literature. I don't think it's literature and should be treated as literature. I think those are two different things.
Why?
Okay, well, so let's go and frame this really quick, right? This is going to be a repetition of what we talked about literally last week, dude. The first thing you're going to do in this dialogue is go over the semantics, what the words means. Because when I say the word literature, it can mean a lot of different things, right? It can be something that's thematic. So if you're someone who's studying psychology and you're a psychology major, you're going to read a lot of journals and books and monographs on psychology. You'll be studying the literature, the oeuvre, the body of work of that area. So anything that has to do with that academic sense of education in psychology is the literature of psychology. That's used primarily as a modifier. That's not what I'm talking about. That thematic thing can also expand for regional areas, right? So if you're studying Russian history, the Russian history and the body of that can be the literature, it can be language, it can be a lot of different things. The way that universities actually break down things down in their modes and modules of study, that's fine. That's not what we're talking about, right? This is not what you're saying. You're saying that you consider manga to be at the same level of academic research and the production of academic research, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I have to say no. I don't know much academic research that uses pictures. If you want to go back to the very etymology of the word literature, litera, Latin, believe it's 15th century, it means letters, right? It's letters, it's production of letters. If I would make that argument to you that anime can't be literature because it's visual representations, not literal representations, what would you say?
Well, I'd follow up with a question.
Okay.
Different languages other than English use letters, right?
Yes. Well, it depends. Like Chinese uses Hansu, Russia uses Cyrillic,
Egypt uses hieroglyphs.
You're making the argument that hieroglyphs or hieroglyphics is a form of visual, kind of like, almost kind of like comparable to like a visual communication. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. You really would compare, let's say, what was that manga we were reading where you had me read? What was it?
Tell me the content.
Was it One Punch Man, I think? You're telling me that a slide of One Punch Man or a cell of One Punch Man is the same thing as an Egyptian hieroglyphic?
Yeah. It's trying to communicate something.
Okay. So let's say I can see that point. Let me say I can see that when it comes to visual representation. I think it was a specific philosopher. Now I'm stuck.
Locke?
No, it wasn't Locke.
Hobbes?
But his argument was that we communicate in pictures. Everything's a picture. That the major foundational form of miscommunication is that we actually communicate in pictures, not in letters and words. So if I said, I'll give an example. If I said to you that I had a great time at the beach, immediately, let's say if David's experience at the beach the last time he went was all sunny and beautiful and the water was great and the sand was white, when I say the word beach, he's going to have a positive kind of like connotation to it because the visuals that's produced in his head. If I say beach to you and the last experience you had was a hurricane hitting, it's actually going to have a negative connotation to it. And so the argument is that a great deal of miscommunication that happens is because people communicate in visualizations and not in like almost like a literary term and an alphabetic term. And this is my point. Imagine if we try to write an academic article or an academic monograph based off of visualizations. How much room and misinterpretation will be available then? If anything, focusing on the specific writing in the letters gives room for specificity and clear communication. I mean, if you're doing advanced studies in college, wouldn't you have a level of specificity and communication there than rather have such a high level of different interpretations that can lead to misunderstanding?
I guess you could say that, but if I tell you there is a bald man about to go defeat a monster with one punch, and he throws the punch and he blows a hole in the monster, what do you imagine this bald man looks like?
Right. So there, since I read One Punch Man, there's going to be visualizations that I associate with that. And I get what you're saying. If you're trying to say that literature is a form of like imagination, creativity, artistic value, once again, it's a semantic. I get it. I don't have a problem if there's a college class being taught on the artistic forms of different animes or manga or whatever. I think that's cool. I don't even mind taking the class. The issue that you're having here is once again going back to the question of academia. Academic literature, you're talking about it as its main mode of communication. its main mode of delivery. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Let me give you a couple of examples. That I'm trying to be clear about. Like, for instance, if you're talking about academic journals, academic articles in production, there's going to be certain thematic things. Once I talk about literature, it can cover an area, it can cover a region, it can cover a language, whatever, but also the extension of vocabulary. Let me ask you this. Let's talk about language and vocabulary. One of the beautiful things about language is it's constantly changing, right?
Yeah.
If you go back to England, you took Chaucer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you took Chaucer. What do they use English for Chaucer? What's it originally written in?
Old English, yeah.
Okay, I think it's Middle English, and that Beowulf is Old English, right?
Okay.
If you go listen to Old English, does it sound anything like English right now?
No.
Does you have Thor, you have Ash, you have older symbols that are used in the utilization and pronunciation of words. If anything, it shows that language is alive, it's fluid, it changes, right?
Yes.
Tell me how manga could do that.
Okay. When manga and anime first came out, it looked like a cartoon. I'll give you that. But when it first came out, it came out in around 1917, around that area. When it first came out, it looked like a cartoon. But as times change, now it is 2025. If you look at anime now, compared to as when it first started, you will see how it changed from a cartoon to a serious storytelling experience. In battle, when you read a battle in a book, it's written, he drew his sword, he drew his sword, they fought, right? Or it's even better with Shakespeare because it's a play. You can with Shakespeare because it's a script. Because Shakespeare has a script, there's a certain structure to what the play should follow. Yes.
Sure.
But then again, there are still times where, let's say, with Macbeth fought, what's his name? Macduff?
Macduff, yeah.
Could that have been explained in 5 hours? Could you have drawn out that fight for or 10 minutes? Could you have drawn out that fight with proper literature and writing? Could you have drawn that out for 5 minutes?
It's the strongest argument that you're making so far, and I get it. The argument is for instance, I love Shakespeare, love reading Shakespeare, right? But the thing I primarily study is the text. I'll pull out the play and look at the text. Your argument is the text is more of a representation of a visual medium, which is drama, acting, theater, right? When you go and apply Shakespeare, the application of Shakespeare is supposed to be on the stage, and that's a visual medium. I get that. So your question to me is, would I consider, if I saw Shakespeare on the Globe Theater, if I would automatically not think that that's literature now? That's hard. No, okay. It's not the medium that I have a problem with. I'll give you another example. It's not the medium I have a problem with. It's not the visual medium I have an issue with. I mean, God knows that there's a lot of great artistic expressions within visual medium, film, portraits, painting, poetry, whatever. There's a lot of different. You can have an artifact in itself. I mean, you go into archaeology. There's beautiful demonstrations of visual mediums there. That's not my point. Actually, it is a good point, but this is how I'll explain it further, okay? The medium isn't the only thing you have to consider. The contribution to almost kind of like the academic conversation you need to consider. Like, for instance, the level of critical thinking that can be applied, the level of almost kind of like historical or social review that you can have. And I'll give an example. Let's say I wanted to write a monograph. A monograph is a close, in-depth study of something. And I'm focusing on, let's say, the Battle of the Bulge, World War II, tank warfare, Nazis shooting in, trying to push the Allies back on the field. Let's say I'm doing a book on that. What would I go read? I'll go look at primary sources. I would then go see what other scholars have written on it. I'll go over what historical figures have said. I'll do a sense of analysis and review. There's a lot of things that I can get done. And if I walked into a room or a conference with a bunch of historians who have a high level of rigor and study in what they're doing, have you seen your community of critics and academics, supposedly? I've seen some of the videos you've showed me of these commentators, anime commentators, and it's like the definition of a subjective pettiness. Are you kidding me? Like, you'll see these guys that their review of any given anime, it's so kind of like volatile in their critique that all it is simply throwing gobbets or mudslinging. Like people love to, at least from the ones you've shown me, the like experts in anime, they base their quality over such superficial things. It has nothing to do with the research on our artistic form, has nothing to do with a social historical analysis, has nothing to do with a close, rigorous study. Like the word is lucubrations, like late night, like just in your books going through it. They treat it as some form of like tawdry entertainment where they can sit back and the people who are on the highest critical chair within your area of anime, I sit back and I'm like, that wouldn't hold any rigor even at the middle school level. So maybe my biggest criticism of anime is not even the medium itself, but by the community that puts it together to make it as puerile as it is.
Let me ask you a question really quick. Do you think all deep studied professors post themselves on YouTube?
No, I don't.
So then why do you think deep studied anime people or theorists would post themselves on YouTube?
Okay, can you point me to a deep study theorist that has published a book on it that I can read up on?
No, I can't I can't point you to one, but I can say just because I've shown you what you believe are experts doesn't mean they are experts. I haven't told you that they are experts. I haven't gone up to you and said, these are...
Then who are they? Like, point me to one of them. Like, I have no problem. I'm a reader. I enjoy reading. Show me the person I should be referencing. Show me the people that have been peer-reviewed on this topic. Tell me the ones that have created a theoretical framework or have empirical evidence or some kind of methodology of interpretation that I can sit back and actually consume. You know what I mean? Allow me to engage in some kind of academic discourse. You know what I mean? So who would that be? I'll be glad to read their work and see their arguments if it's there. You know? The other thing is like even the methods of research though. You know what I mean? If you're doing anything in history, studying anything in history, there has to be this methodology or this approach which you have with the lens that you're using. Like it doesn't matter if it's an economic lens, it could be a social lens, political lens, religious, theological lens, whatever it may be. Typically, when people are commenting on certain animes, they sit back and be like, I like that, or I didn't like that, and so it wasn't any good. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, well, that's the end of the conversation. I'll give you another example. Let's say you and I are disagreeing about something. Excuse me. I'm telling you, my sinuses are killing me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Give me an anime that you really like, that like top 5 of you that you like.
Naruto.
Okay. I think Naruto is lousy. What do you think?
I believe Naruto is good.
I think it's lousy. What do you think?
I believe Naruto is good.
Okay. We could go back and forth like that for like 10 minutes. And that's the major structure of the dialogue that I see. You know, you don't stop for a second like, oh, let me explain why Naruto is good. Let me go into why it has, I mean, is it a coming of age?
Yes.
A Bildungsroman structure of all the kind of like obstacles and character growth and kind of like almost kind of like catering to like the perseverance of the human spirit kind of story. Tell me how Naruto is at all a social commentary on any period that you're evaluating. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, Naruto, the story, I'm just going to give you a brief summary of Naruto into the sequel, Naruto Shippuden. So, Naruto starts off with this kid. He gets cursed with this giant fox that's sealed away inside him, right?
Okay.
What makes Naruto so good is not only just the creative world building it has, but there's also amazing artistic values, and it's very imaginative.
Sure.
I'll start with the world building first. The world building and power structure is centered around ninjas, which hasn't been seen a lot in anime from what I've seen. Okay, everyone seems to focus on knights, not exactly just ninjas. And what Naruto does good is that, and it not only just brings in that, but it also brings in an interesting power structure, a creative power structure. It takes the life force that is inside of you, basically your soul, what your soul produces, that life energy, and it can change it into different elements, right? Now, no one likes the kid, Naruto, because he has this giant fox sealed inside of him because it destroyed the city. And so the entirety of Naruto is him growing up and proving to everyone that they're wrong, that he is a hero just because of his origins of what's sealed inside of him doesn't make him bad.
Okay.
What?
Thank you for the review of a quick chronology and summary of Naruto. What's your point?
My point is, just because you could say, I like Naruto, I don't like Naruto, I like Naruto, I don't like Naruto, but in the end, you're looking at the people that are arguing, not the actual content. It's your job. If they're doing a bad job arguing and giving descriptions, then it's your job to go and see if it's actually good or not. If they're doing a bad job describing it, then it's your job to go look up the content. Like, if someone were just to describe Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, I like Romeo and Juliet. I don't. I like Romeo and Juliet. I don't. I like Romeo and Juliet. I don't. It's your job. If you're like, you guys are dumb, I'm going to go research it myself. That's your job. If you want to find out the content, if you want to find out the argument, it's your job to go figure it out.
Okay. So the argument is, first of all, the onus is on me to go do it. Okay. Just because there's a gap in the community of anime that lacks any kind of like academic rigor, I am not obligated then to fill in that gap, number one. But if your argument is just give it some time, then fine. I can follow that argument. That's not an issue for me. You know, there's no question that as a society, we are right now a visual medium society. You know, people consume things on their phone when it comes to the news. They don't read it anymore. They watch it. When it comes to kind of like sitting down, relaxing with family. I mean, we have TVs in almost every bedroom. I'm sure we can look at the percentages of the people who watch sports on TV or who listen to on radio. We are a visual medium society. We're becoming more so. And so if your argument is that that's the way it's headed, I'm like, fine, but you're not there yet. Okay? So the argument of including anime as some kind of like great work like Shakespeare, this is the argument you're making. Shakespeare is valuable and beneficial because it's been studied for a long time by people who are capable of it. If that's the structure of your argument, that's fine. But I would make the argument that I don't see that within the anime community. That doesn't mean that it can't happen later on down the road. And it doesn't mean at some point that it could be done. I mean, are you asking me to pick an anime and do a literary analysis on one of them? Is that what you're asking?
That would be a good idea, actually.
What?
I'm going to write that down. Next time, I think we should just do a literary analysis of like one anime. That could be fun.
Okay.
And it could be eye-opening for you.
I've seen anime. I've read some of our anime before already.
Yeah, but that's like it's what your experience with anime and manga has been is literally a schoolboy's experience with schoolwork. You're doing it because you have to. I go up to you and I'm like, hey, could you watch this with me? Hey, could you read over this? You're like looking at with disinterest. And I mean...
No, I wasn't disinterested. No. I mean, sitting back and relaxing is a form of entertainment, you know? I mean, and then the other thing is, well, it take too long. I read through, One Punch Man pretty quickly because you just have to glaze through the pages of the visuals. That won't take too long. But if you want me to try to do... I don't want to do One Punch Man then. Dude, there's not a better anime to consider. Well, I would prefer a manga, to tell you the truth. I don't want to sit down and watch TV. I like book in the hand kind of thing. So if you want to recommend a manga, sorry, dude. I'm telling you, today wasn't a good day. I'm all stuffed up.
You know, speaking of animes and manga, there's a really good anime that just got a season 2 update that I think would tickle your fancy.
What's that?
It's called Solo Leveling. It's a very interesting series.
Okay. That's fine. Are you talking about an anime series or a manga?
Well, actually manhwa, but yeah, manga.
Like, so you want me to read it or you want me to watch it?
Read it.
Okay.
Then we can watch it.
Okay, fair enough. I have no problem reading through one of your animes or one of your manga, whatever, and then trying to do a literary analysis on it. That's fine. We can have that discussion.
Remember,
that's not an issue.
Don't read through it because this is... I'm not forcing you. I want you to read through it.
Oh, like you're kind of forcing me, dude. Look what you did to my office. This is flipping forcing me. Okay? Either I walk in here and start trashing all your little toys.
This isn't forcing you.
Yeah,
this is a last resort.
Dude, you came into my space, dude. This is like my space where I do my work.
This is the last resort.
What do you mean last resort?
I mean, a last resort for you to spend time with us. I mean, you spend more time with your college students than you do with us.
But that's typical, though. Typically, people spend more time with their jobs than they do with their families because they work a 9 to 5. And there's the whole cats in the cradle mentality. I know at one point in this life, you're going to be grown with your own family and go somewhere else. I'm like, oh, I miss Nathaniel so much. Oh, are you telling me that this is my opportunity to engage with you in this so we can bond before you take off to college? Actually, you're already in college. Take off and live your own life. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay. Like I said, I have no problem trying. That's not an issue. Okay. So if you want to do some bonding experience over some manga, if that's what you want to do, then you have to make a deal with me then. Then after we do the manga, then we're going to do some Shakespeare reading. Okay. Or, I mean, it doesn't have to be Shakespeare. I mean, it could be 1,000 other things. It could be Thomas Hardy. It could be kind of like another big writer that I'm a big fan of because I really like D.H. Lawrence. You know what I mean? James Joyce.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
So
I take it you're not going to take your junk out of my office then.
Oh, no, this stays.
It stays. Dude, it's taking up like freaking 50%.
Honestly, how do you think we paid for all this stuff? Everything that's missing?
You read it. I've sold it in my stuff, dude. I'm not going to be happy. Okay, fair enough. We'll just take it from there. Okay, I need to go blow my nose. I need to get ready to move on with my day. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Talk to you later, son.
Thank you guys so much for checking out my channel. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button, like, and share the video for more. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit the notification bell for more videos when they're uploaded. And so we can show our father that anime is worth his time.